I want this to be like as interactive, and because we have a small class. We only have 5 of you guys. So we can be as slow, fast, interactive as possible because I'm assuming you guys are probably all at different levels when it comes to social media. Who like utilizes social media on a regular basis? You? What platforms do you guys use? In Instagram? Instagram and TikTok. Okay. I like that. How old are you? Okay, that's why I was like the younger kids, it's like all TikTok. So that's awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna mainly go over Facebook and Instagram, our priorities today. And so all these tools, insights that I'm gonna give you are essentially applicable to every platform as well. So like Cameron said, I do marketing for the Red Sign team, which is composes like a very small portion of that is social media. And now, because of AI and all these awesome tools out there, I kind of want to give you guys some insights on what's coming, what's changing in the algorithm, and then just awesome softwares to utilize. Because if you're like me, who's super busy and doesn't have time to spend hours editing videos, these tools are awesome because I know like when they're like, oh, you got to post 2 times a day, you're like, who has time to spend 5 hours a day editing videos? So that's what we're going to do. Before we get started, are there any like specific questions or things that you guys want to cover? No. Great. We will get started then. Maybe if it's going to let me go. Okay, so when it comes to the algorithm, this is where I think it's really important because if you're posting content for the sake of posting content and you're not being intentional about cheating the algorithm, then you're wasting your time, right? Because if it gets seen by 2 people, you're like, well, I spent 2 hours, your return on your investment, it's not very high. So when it comes to engagement signals, retention is key. So when you have a video, right, it's 60 seconds, say on Instagram. Instagram is dictating what portion of that video people are watching. So if you ever notice, like if you go to your For You page or on Facebook or Instagram, and when I'm saying Instagram, this is applicable to both because it's the same company, it's Meta, right? If you ever watch, like if even if you don't like, comment, or share a video, but if you're just looking at a video for a long time, you're going to start to notice that continuously comes up on your For You page because it's saying you are looking at this video for a certain amount of period of time. So you want to make sure that they're watching it the full portion. And because humans, as we know, have very, very short attention spans, the shorter the better, right? Unfortunately, the world we live in, it's like you got like 10, 15 seconds max. Because if you go in your insights after you post a video on either platform, it's going to show you where the cutoff rate is, like the average watch time. So you're going to see like it's like 3 seconds, and it's so debilitating because you're like, I spent so much time. This is a high quality video, spent thousands of dollars in making it, and I got like 3 seconds worth of time. So making sure like you have a hook in the beginning, right? Flashy, something sharp, catches people's attention, and then make sure that you change scenes frequently enough that you can keep their attention. Because again, if you start and you just have one stagnant video of you just talking in front of a camera, it's not changing enough for the human mind, and therefore people are gonna scroll. So that's important for the algorithm. Shares. A lot of people think like superficial metrics such as likes and comments really matter, but they don't. The most important is shares, because if you ever notice the people on your Facebook or your Instagram that are populating in the beginning, it's because those are your people. Those are your people that you're interacting with on a regular basis. So for example, it's like my husband, my best friend, all the people that I'm sending funny memes to or I'm messaging, they're always going to populate first because Instagram's saying we have a close relationship. So I always recommend, I tell agents, I'm like, I can tell you all the posts, but the best thing you can do for your social media is have 10 minutes set aside every morning where you go like 5 posts, you go share 5 posts, you go comment 5 posts, and you go follow 5 people. If you can do that 5-5-5 rule, then you're going to grow your platforms, because that's where people are going to start seeing your content more because you're engaging with them more than just liking and commenting. So the best thing you can do is just like if you see someone has an anniversary, you see someone has a birthday, just message them on those platforms and just say, or they have a kid, congratulations. Like, or reply to their stories. Just be intentional about replying to things, because now all of a sudden you're going to populate in the beginning of their algorithm. And that's obviously the whole goal, is to get your content seen, get exposure. Saves are super important. So if you guys are creating content worthy of a save, then Instagram's dictating that that's high quality content. So making sure that you have something like our content when we do like that's funny content that's essentially applicable to all real estate agents, we get a ton of saves because a bunch of agents are like, oh, I want to go recreate that content. So making content that's savable, or like, hey, who wants a 3% interest rate? I know you're, yeah, whatever, builder incentives. When we talk about that kind of stuff, we get a ton of saves because people are interested in it, right? So again, just making sure you have content that's worthy of a save. Meaningful comments, don't just go comment emojis. Instagram's smart enough to know that that's just like a lot of bots do that. So making sure that you're putting like a few words. So again, just intentionality, like say, this is a really great video or whatever you want, but having words instead of emojis is important. And profile searches and DMs, again, if you are searching for people, Instagram knows that. So making sure that like you want people searching, sorry if I'm in the way, you want people searching for your profile. So making sure that you have stuff that is searchable. And we're going to go over, does everyone know what SEO is? Does anyone not know what SEO is? Okay, so search engine optimization. So when you are in Google and you're looking for best restaurant near me, there's going to be a bunch of restaurants that populate. Same with realtors. If I'm in Utah County, I'm looking best realtor in Provo, Utah. People are paying a lot of money to populate beginning. And now Instagram and Meta, they have social media SEO. So it used to be just like hashtags, but now there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do. So you populate when people are looking for real estate related content. So we'll go into that in detail. Again, originality is key. So who knows how to remix a video? Got it. So if remixing is great because it's essentially like free content that you don't have to do anything. So we're going to make this interactive. So if everyone wants to pull up their phone, does everyone have Instagram here? Okay, we're just going to show on Instagram because it's the easiest. And you're going to go to Reels. And you're going to click is everyone there? Okay, on a random reel, there's 3 dots under the share button. Do you guys see those 3 dots? You're going to click it, and then it's going to pull up Save Remix Sequence. So click on a random reel, and then you're going to click those 3 dots, and then Remix. So this is where I recommend, does everyone see the Remix button? This is where I recommend following like the top real estate agents across the nation, a bunch of like builder accounts, like follow a bunch of good real estate influencers because you can remix their content. You just type out a word, and then I put it off screen, and then you're essentially reposting their content for free without having to create your own. So there's some like really cool like builder incentive ones, or there's some really cool like Robinson Home Builders. They show awesome custom homes. Remix one of their reels of their parade home per se, and then say, hey, if you're looking to build custom, like reach out to me. Would love to get you connected with some awesome custom builders in Utah. So then you're getting this high quality content. You're not having to create anything, but you do get nicked in the fact that Instagram's always going to reward originality first. So you're not going to get as much engaged. So like one of our agents, he had like 10 million views because he had this crazy house and it had like a hidden passageway essentially. He got 10 million views, and then he had a bunch of other agents from across the nation repost it, but they only got like a couple 100,000, right? So you're never going to get as much as the original content, but it's still great content and it's easy to do.
The minutes get posted, does it go back on your feed or like in the reels?
It's on your feed. So yep, so you can keep it on your profile. You can hide it from your profile, but it will just be posted. Like I wouldn't know it's a remix unless I like am smart enough to like look at the small comment that dictates that it's a remix. Yep. Yep, and you can do the repost, which is essentially the same thing. So there's really not much difference for them. So do that. You can add text, you can add clips, make it your own spin if you want, which is helpful, but that's essentially that. Any questions about the algorithm? Nope. Okay, so Instagram editing, how many of you guys edit in a third-party software versus editing in Instagram or Facebook? Yeah. This is where it's Instagram again, like they make money based off your time spent in the app. So they're trying to push everyone to edit solely in their app. They have Instagram edits, which you can download, which is essentially the same thing, but I highly recommend making sure that you're only editing in Instagram. So that's important because essentially metadata is what is essentially the code for each image. So a video, a photo, it all has metadata in it. So we can know like the timestamp, all this important like code essentially. And Instagram saying if that was added in a different app and saved versus if it was just the original on your phone and added in app. So if that makes sense, I always recommend utilizing like not CapCut or anything else, just editing in Instagram because right now they have a bunch of new updates with the edits where you can do multi-clips transitions, caption overlays, stickers. They also have a new beats thing, which we'll go over in a second. How many of you have used Reel templates? Have anyone used templates in Reels? You? This is, again, we're going to pull up Instagram because I feel like if we learn and go through it, if you go to post just a random video or just, yeah, so you'll see templates. So if you just click create a reel, like the plus button in the very bottom, and then you'll see templates up at the very top. Does anyone not see it? So this is essentially, it's going to say recommended for you based off the type of content you post. But now I can go on one of these templates and I can just go add a bunch of clips and I don't have to worry about transitioning it on beat or adding a certain amount or cropping or anything. It's just going to pick the best 0.2 seconds of each clip and it's going to add a template that's already trending, already with good music, and I don't have to edit. So I utilize templates on a regular basis because it saves you hours of your time. So always recommend using templates. And what I tell people is, so you have your 10 minutes a day where you're going to go follow people, like things and do that, but then add another few minutes where you're just have intention, not just like mindlessly scrolling, but just intentional time of scrolling and saving templates. So create like folders in Instagram that are real estate funny ideas, real estate builder ideas, real estate whatever ideas. So create a bunch of folders and then with subcategories, and you can save those as you're scrolling. So then whenever your content days are, say every Thursday you're going to make content, then every Thursday all you have to do is pull up that folder, see which ones you want to make, and it saves you time. So then you're not doing scrolling on the time that you're supposed to be creating. Any questions about templates? Nope. Okay, AI assisted edits, again, auto captions, background removal, polishing of the videos. Make sure like in Instagram, every time you go to post, there's like advanced settings. So making sure that you're putting like the highest quality video upload is really important. And there's a couple other things that you want to make sure that you have on, which we'll go over in detail. And then again, like I said, the explore page, it's very topic driven. So hashtags matter less, velocity of engagement matters way more. So content ideas that drive saves and shares. So this is where it's super crucial because we all, as real estate agents, we all follow a bunch of other real estate agents. And how many of you see like super cringy content that you're like, oh, that's really hard to watch. And if I wasn't in real estate, I would definitely not want to watch that. Because we get in our mind like, oh, like my job's so important. I do all this stuff. But then it's like, okay, we have to make content that's also applicable to people outside of real estate because that's who we're trying to reach, right? So there's, I mean, and there's real estate agents that their content is only to reach other realtors to get referrals. And that is a path forward. So if that's your path, the most important marketing is defining who's your audience, right? Who's your target audience? And so I probably should have started with that, but that's what I would ask yourself, like, who's your age demographic, right? What do they like to do? What are their hobbies? Like mine is all a bunch of travel stuff, right? So I follow a bunch of travel and a bunch of travel people follow me. And that's just like my niche that I've, because I'm not a licensed realtor. But as a licensed realtor, I would ask, like, who are your buyers and your sellers? Like, are they first-time home buyers? Are they luxury? We have agents across all spectrums. A lot of first-time home buyers, it's like post about all these incentive programs that the state offers, post about builder incentives. If they're luxury, like really get into just like getting partnerships with, there's a lot of awesome custom builders that would love for you to go tour all, like, for example, we just had a parade home with Valor Homes. You guys could easily go in there and get a bunch of content with it because we want exposure, right? So define your target market. That makes all this really easy. But some ideas, checklist. So like home maintenance tips. That's a great one. I might not be looking to buy or sell, but if you post about home maintenance tips, that's applicable to me because I'm a owner, right? So like in the winter or in the fall, here's some things that you should do. Clean out your vent, right? We all forget, right, to do those things. So And then how-tos, you know, how to negotiate a contract, how to, I don't know, you guys are the realtors. You can come up and you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or any AI bot too. If you're like, hey, I want to make a how-to that's applicable to my audience that is this, and I'm a realtor, and see what options. But quick tips, again, they're all safe bait. You want something like that people are like, this is actually helpful information that I would save. Send to a friend who needs this. Like we've all, I don't know about you guys, but I have so many of those. It's like send to a friend who needs this, like to buy an airplane ticket, to do whatever. Like those are, you'll see thousands of shares, but maybe not many likes and comments. And that's what's important. So I think send to a friend who needs this. And then you could do something like funny or a spoof off of real estate would be really easy. Again, pattern interrupts and jump cuts are super important. So you only want one scene to be about 5 to 7 seconds max before you cut to a new scene. So even if it's like you just talking, like change the background, change if you're sitting or standing, just like change it up a little bit. Multi-entry hooks, again, cover every scroll behavior. You want really good visuals. So if it's like, again, in your advanced settings, making sure you have the highest quality upload on. If your visual is pixelated, then you're not going to get a lot of people's attention, right? Or Instagram's going to rank you really low on the algorithm. If there's not a lot of text, again, because there's people who have who are blind. And so Instagram says like this, and this content needs to be applicable to all sorts of people, even the visually impaired. So making sure that you have visuals, text, and sounds to capture everyone. And then early adopter trends, spins. So I tell people like in Instagram, you can see trending music or trending content. And so it will tell you like this has 6,000 views or this has 600,000 views, right? And so I tell people it's like a wave, right? You don't want to catch it at the very top because if you have a trending audio that has 1 million views, then it's already pretty much been through its life cycle. So you're only going to catch it on the way down and you're not going to get a ton of additional exposure. Whereas if you catch it when it has like a couple, maybe 1 to 5,000 uses, you're going to ride it up and then you're going to get way more exposure. So making sure when you find trending audio, you're utilizing low usage count. Yes, because of copyright rules. So legally, because you're a business, there's a bunch of copyright rules, and so you can't use it. Whereas if you're a creative, which that's a really good point, because you can put yourself as a creator account or a professional account or just a personal account. So I tell all of our agents to put themselves as a creator account because then they get full access to all the audio, all the things. And you guys are like you as a creator, you can put yourself as an entrepreneur, which you guys are all that, and then putting in that subcategory a real estate agent. So would recommend doing that because like for Red Sign, we have to be a business because we're a licensed LLC and all those things. And I can't really change that. But for all of you as an individual owner, you can definitely be a creator account. And then you can have access to all the music. Because there's nothing worse than when you find a really good audio and you go to use it and you can't use it. Okay, behind the scene builds. So I don't know if any of you guys have been to family reunion, but a couple years ago they had the guy that was probably like 22 and he was doing like unreal amount of business, like millions of dollars worth of business. And all he did was went to new constructions like D.R. Horton, Edge Homes. I mean, he wasn't from Utah, but similar production builders. And all he did was take behind the scenes or videos, upcoming inventory. Like that was his niche. He's like, I'm just going to be the go-to guy because as we know, they're not all on the MLS. Like you can't just find all these, which is a disservice for our clients because those are some of the best deals right now, right? But that's all he did and he crushed it because he just found, hey, my audience is really looking for deals and that's kind of what my focus is. So builds, that's a really easy one, especially with all the incentives going on right now. A day in the life of agents, that's always fun. Like you guys see, there's so many TV shows about realtors, right? Because it's a glamorous, for the most part, or it can be job compared to a lot of other jobs. So people are curious, like, what do you do all day? So having behind the scenes of a day in life is helpful, like showing like, hey, this is me on my way to go show homes, or this is how I get ready to do a listing consultation. Like that stuff is exciting. Neighborhood spotlights. So highlight schools, parks, restaurants. Position yourself as the hyper local expert. So I have an agent who he is in Spanish Fork and he's like on the Spanish Fork Chamber of Commerce. He's super involved in the community and the church. And like, that's all he does is he just like posts every time a new restaurant comes to Spanish Fork, every time there's a new event coming. That's what he does. And he now has like a huge following of people that are just interested in him and following him just because they live in Spanish Fork, not necessarily because they're doing deals, but because of that, inadvertently, he has gotten a lot of deals out of it. So I would, wherever you live or wherever you want to do business, find an area. I would say not going as big as like Utah or Salt Lake County, like really narrowing in and being hyper experts or hyper local experts first, and then expanding your horizon from there. But again, I tell people it's an 80-20 rule. You want 80% personal content that is relevant to people that, because people, real estate agents, we all do the same thing. Like, yes, everyone offers a little bit of different twists, spins to their jobs, but at the end of the day, like pretty much every agent's the same. So why do people use you as a business partner? Why do they use you or trust you with selling or buying their biggest asset? It's because they trust you, right? They know you, they like you. Okay. They're not using you because you post a bunch of social media videos, or not using you because of whatever. Like, they're using you because of who you are as a person. And that's why I tell people like 80% of your content needs to be about your personal life, content that's relevant to everyone, regardless of their intention to buy or sell. So if you have 80% real estate content, you're going to lose a lot of people because no one wants to see that. If we're not looking to buy or sell and all I see is real estate content on your feed, of business content, I'm going to get really bored and I'm going to unfollow you, or I'm not going to interact and I'm never going to see your content. So making sure 80% is personal, 20% is business. It's just, I tell people like it should coincide with your 36 touch plan strategically, meaning like you should just have like casual reminders, maybe one story a day that's real estate related. So it's just that, oh, they're in real estate, without being like in your face, I'm in real estate. Market myth busting. Again, there's so much clickbait out there in terms of like what's happening with real estate. I mean, the whole like the Fed's meeting, rates are going to drop. Like, that was a huge thing. And then where we're at now, where rates are still in the 6%, and that's still a drop. But people have this crazy mind, because they're not in this business, that rates are going to drop to 3%. So again, just educating. Positioning yourself as a expert, as a real estate wealth advisor, is crucial, because you want people to like use this as, especially younger generations, like this is what people use as their resume. It's crazy the amount of like clients we've gotten as a team, because they're like, oh, I looked at your Instagram, or I looked at your online presence and I used you or picked you because of what you have online. And we're like, oh, well, I'm glad that we're putting out content that, we're proud of, versus just content that is just like for the sake of posting it. So think of it as your resume, making sure you have like on your profile on Instagram, you can pin a post. And so I always tell agents, I'm like, pin, like your first post should be a little video talking about yourself, just saying, hey, I'm Kaytin, I'm a realtor, I would love to help you buy and sell, blah, blah, blah. Here's a little bit about me. So then every time someone goes to your profile, the first post they click on is a little quick introduction. But again, like, people are only looking at it for a few seconds. So asking yourself, like, what is your resume showing on those platforms? Client journeys. Again, before and after stories of buyers and sellers, like testimonials are so important, because I can always post like text of all the reviews we get. But if I get a client that's talking about her experience or his experience buying or selling with us, and then all of a sudden then I tag them or collaborate with them on that post, and then I'm getting all their following, and all they're doing is just speaking praise about utilizing us as a team, that is like the best form of marketing we can get, right? Is word of mouth and referrals. So I always tell clients, like I have our agents, whenever we close, like if we could get a quick video, just asking them like, what did you like about working with the team? What was the best part? Like, what are you most excited about? Ask them a few questions, record the video, and just say, hey, I'm going to tag you in the story. Do you mind reposting it? Or I'm going to add you as a collaborator. Do you mind reposting it? Because now all of a sudden you're getting their 1,000 followers. And then if it's a couple, then you're getting both, right? So it's being strategic about adding multiple people to each post that you have. Interactive polls and savable guides. So on stories, you can add stickers which have questions and polls. And again, we talked about in the beginning, interaction is key. So I always tell people, like one of our agents, he's younger And he's like, okay, well, a lot of my people aren't looking to buy or sell because they're all 20 years old and can't afford it in this market. So what he does is he just goes on random home tours on homes listed on the market, crazy homes, and like Park City or, whatever, super expensive. And he always just does a question like, guess what the price is? Winner gets a $5 swig card. And then he gets like 100 something plus people that respond guessing what the price of the home is. And then he, after a certain time period, post it and then post the winner. And so now he has all these people that have been trained. Okay, every other week he's posting something. So I'm looking out for it. And you don't even have to do like a reward. You can just say guess, and you'll still have a ton of people that are just curious. And you can even do the question mark too. So that's always fun. Top 5 questions to ask before your listing, checklist for first-time home buyers, like creating, and all these things. If you guys didn't go to Shoni's AI class, like all these things you can create utilizing an LLM, like you chat or Claude, create the checklist for you, and then you can put it in Gamma AI, and it's free, and it will essentially create you a first-time home buyer checklist. It will create you a listing consultation. So you can go, it will create you an investor guide. So go create a bunch of different guides that people can save on social media, and all you do is do a quick selfie video talking about it, and then comment for whatever. And if ManyChat is the software that I utilize, and essentially, if you guys have seen influencers that it says like comment house for the listing or comment house for the guide, that's the software. Then essentially it automates sending them the guide, so you don't have to respond to anyone. So it's called ManyChat, and I highly recommend it because it's free. Yep. So it's free. What it does is it just essentially then it interacts anytime someone comments or does certain words, or you can change the instructions. But I do it like for a parade home. I'm like, comment parade for, a preview of this listing before we go live. And then we had 20 people comment, and then it just automatically sends to them. Huh? In the App Store. Yep. Yep. So I just have it. You can do it in the App Store, or you can just do it online on the browser. No, but that's what's nice is because ManyChat, you just tell people like or comment, and then it will send you the PDFs in the message. So then you just set the instructions. So you pick, like what you'll do is you'll log in on ManyChat with your Instagram credentials, and you can say, do my next post, or you can say, do this post that I've already done. And then it will say, okay, what do you want to send? And then say, anytime someone comments parade, send them this PDF and say, hey, here's our parade of homes. It's listed at 3 million. If you're interested, please let us know. We'd love to give you a private tour. And it sends them the PDF with the message. So then like I'm running like 7 different social media accounts, right? And so it saves me time from messaging all these people and keeping on top of it. So especially like if you have a listing, that's a great, or you don't even have to use your own listing. I promise if you want to use any of our team's listings, anyone at the brokerage would love to get additional exposure. Just say, hey, I have got this awesome listing. It's got an ADU. It's under 500 in Provo, Utah. Who wants information on it? Literally comment Provo to get information. Then just send them the MLS link with your information on it. I promise you, no one at this brokerage is going to not let you use their listings if you don't have one. So great way to get exposure. Yeah. Ask first. Because some people do get mad. And it's usually people who are not, like I had one really old lady that's been in the business for like forever. And she's like, no, thank you. I was like, okay, well, I won't get exposure for your listing. I guess you don't want to sell. So there are some people who are stingy, but I doubt anyone at this brokerage. So if you want to email me, if you see our listings, I will always say yes. Okay, AI tools that change the game. So some apps that I have used for editing, Runway is Gen 4. It's essentially generative B-roll, VFX, background swaps, and video for fast template bulk edits, DaVinci Resolve, auto color stabilization, color grading essentially. Descript, edit videos like text, remove fillers, overdub. Premiere and Firefly, great for ProGrade with AI extend and search. And then speed tools that I use or have, Wisecut, Canva, and Vizard. So this is just kind of some of the, again, AI is constantly changing. So this is like my most recent tech stack, but that evolves constantly. So, and I can send you all, if you want to send me an email after this class, I'll give you my email, and you guys can send me an email and I'll send you the slides. So you don't have to like remember all this or write it all down. Probably should have started with that. Okay, so I mentioned SEO, and so this is really like the name of the game. Unless you're going to go spend thousands of dollars on paid advertisement, SEO is where you're going to grow organically and make a difference with your content. So using keywords in your captions. So before it was like hashtag Utah, hashtag real estate, blah, blah, blah. Now it wants to make sure that the keywords, which are essentially for you guys would be Utah real estate, first time home buyer, luxury homes, like any keyword that you would want people searching when finding a realtor, they want them essentially added organically into the caption. So, hey, my name's Kaytin. I am a realtor, and I've created this first-time homebuyer guide for first-time buyers in the state of Utah or Provo, Utah, whatever that looks like. Like adding a bunch of keywords will help you populate in people's algorithms. Optimizing your profile name and bio, again, you want the key is searchable. So like your username, you can change your username a few times. It should be like Kaytin Slater _ Utah Realtor. Like you should have some coordination or correlation with real estate in your username specifically. And then on top of that, like you should have your subdomain or like your biography, I guess is what you would call it. And Instagram or Facebook, you need to have the brokerage. So you can get sued if you don't have KW Westfield in that, if you're not putting your brokerage on every content, because the rules are you have to have the brokerage logo one click away. So if any print material and stuff, that's why you have to add the brokerage logo. But the workaround with social media of not having to add it on each content is if you just add it to your bio. And then in addition, so I would say like our agents, it's like KW Westfield, Red Sign Team, Real Estate Wealth Advisor is what we recommend. So being creative of what you have in there. Well, it has to be one click away from any advice, any real estate related content that you post, it has to be one click away. So the easiest workaround is just putting it in your bio. If not, you have to put it in every caption or you have to add the logo to every video or photo. So that's the workaround. Adding alt text to posts. So again, this is a new setting in Instagram where when you go to post a video or photo, you can click on advanced settings and you scroll down and it's alt text. So again, this is for people it's a cheat code. So I tell people if you're not putting alt text in every photo or video you post, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's going to ask you what is in this image. So then now Instagram is cheating on how it's putting it in front of the algorithm, in front of people. So you guys are all not digital advertisers, right? So that's where I would again utilize chat or Claude and say, hey, I need an SEO optimized alt text for Instagram for a photo of a luxury home in Provo. Then it's going to cheat and give you a bunch of keywords that people used to spend so many hours trying to come up with. And it's going to add that and you're going to add that. And again, that's going to be your best way for Instagram to put your content in front of the right people. So because it's looking at things more than just like it's meta, right? So they have data on everything. So it's also looking at like browser behavior. It's looking, if people were looking at homes in Provo, I now can retarget them with Facebook or Instagram ads because of their search behavior and even outside of my social media profiles. So this is where I tell people it's super important, and this is how you get in front of the right people that are looking for real estate. Like of what the content that I would put. Yeah, so I would essentially, so say if I have a listing in Provo, I would say custom home in Provo, luxury listing, $3 million, Utah County, real estate, like it, whatever that is, like utilizing, then I would put all those keywords in chat and have it like write a description for me. But just calling out those words. And then that's where now Instagram, Facebook, Meta, they're going to look at the search behavior of people that were looking at similar things. So if someone searched for listings in Provo, that's where it can then come in front of them with retargeting ads. Yep, yep, yep. So it's not shown anywhere. So that's where it doesn't even need to be complete sentences. You can literally just put a bunch of keywords because it's the only thing that it will show is if someone has in their settings that they're visually impaired and they can't see. And so then in that instead of showing the image, it would show them the text. So.
Recommend in the bios of the link tree.
Yeah, I would for sure. We have one for our agents because we have like blog posts and then we have like certain like giveaways or events. So then it's just like click the link in my bio is super easy. So 100%, that's a good one. Does anyone not know what Linktree is? Oh, great. Perfect. Yeah, I would recommend using that. Yeah, well, that's kind of like, I know that was really fast, but I like to overload with information because again, I know some people have probably been using social media. You've probably been using it for a long time, right? And then there's some of us that like it's newer. So I really want this to be like a Q&A forum with going over like major things that have changed. So what questions do you guys have? Yeah, 100%. MySpace is coming back. And yeah, you got to go update your top friends and all the things. So when you go to post, like just go click a random photo and you'll go to post it. Yeah, so right now.
Was at the top. Okay.
Yeah, so you're on a story. So let's just go right here. We're going to go here and then next and then next. And then you're going to scroll down, more options. And then this is where you'll see all the advanced settings here. So you can schedule it too. Don't use schedule it. I don't know why yours doesn't have it. It depends on your update too. You might need to go update it because this is a really new update. So I would go look and see because it should be in every post that you have if your app's updated. What other questions do you guys have?
More of a thought. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I love social media and I see the benefit of it. But I see real estate agents, I feel like they're really good social media people, but are they good real estate agents? What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you balance the two worlds?
Yeah. And that's where like a lot of times like you see people who essentially they separate. They have a business account and they have a personal account. And so I always recommend having one account because again, like I told you, like your job, your livelihood is real estate. So if you're embarrassed to post that on your personal account, then you shouldn't be in this business, right? Because at the end of the day, you're salespeople. But when it comes to, I don't know, being a good agent and balancing the two, I would say like, again, we all follow a bunch of people and see the content that you like, and then ask your friends, ask your family members, like, hey, what content would you like me to see? Because you know I'm in real estate. And so I just always tell people like position yourself as someone who is an expert and is well put together and don't like trash talk. Like there's a lot of reels that I'll see of agents and it's like, oh, when you get into the seller's house and it's a mess, or right? Or oh, when the first time home buyer thinks that they can qualify. Like when you have those things, they might be funny to us because we're in the business, but all it takes is getting in front of the right person, the wrong person. And then it's like, oh, well, he's trash talking me being able to qualify, even though it's just funny, lighthearted. So I would just say, be intentional and making sure that like all the content you're posting is applicable to 95% of the people following you, regardless of where they're at in the sales cycle. And yeah, just be smart. Just showcase, be genuine, authentic people. Because even like, again, the guy that got 10 million views, he has zero experience. He's like 55. The video was horrible. It was literally him shaking, walking through a house, like the worst video I've probably ever seen. And it got 10 million views. And it was just because he was just talking about this house and he's unapologetically himself. And that's why he gets a ton of people and has gotten a ton of people from real estate, even though his content is, for lack of better words, pretty crappy. Like it's just low quality content. But because he's himself and he's unapologetic and genuine, people love that. So especially in the day and age we live in now where inauthenticity is so prevalent with AI and all these things. So as great as AI is, now I see a bunch of companies like, and we've even explored it, right? Having an AI person be our social media influencer for the team because I don't have an agent that has countless hours to spend creating content. But it's like, does that also hinder our relationships with people because we are creating this divide of inauthenticity by utilizing things like that. So in the world we live in, I would say people value connection, and they're going to value that even more as we move forward with the way the world's headed. So even if you feel like, oh, this is too hard, just do a silly selfie video, talk to people. Like, you'd be shocked about people. It's just at the end of the day, people just want people to connect with. And that's the whole premise of why social media was founded. So, yes. 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 Just because it's at like, I've seen very few people succeed with that. Because again, I'm using you because of you and my connection with you and my relationship with you. Like when we have like I have friends that they have all sorts of other businesses. I want to support them and I want to see their content and I follow their content, but I don't interact with their content because it's all talking about all this business stuff. Like, say if they're an accountant, like I'm not interacting with that content regularly, but I'm interacting with them. So I'm seeing their personal content, but then they're never posting anything business related. So then I forget that they have this business. So I just tell people at the end of the day, like, they're going to use you for you, and you're doing yourself a disservice by segregating them because there's a bunch of agents out there. And yeah. Yeah. So that's where I would just put like in your personal, like in your bio, right? Like your name, like I love to travel, whatever you want to put, like your personal stuff, and real estate agent. And there's some agents that do it really like we have some agents that they're like the guy that I told you that posts the tours and does the questions. You really wouldn't know he's a real estate agent by looking at his profile because it's all personal stuff. And there's a hidden like couple of posts real estate, and then he does a few stories that are real estate. So he's very strategic about it, but he gets a ton. That's how he gets 80-90% of his business. He's a younger guy. That's all of his following, right? So it's good without being obnoxious. So I would say there's a way to intertwine it tastefully. But again, it's you guys have to find your balance. You're gonna every post that you do, like you got to A/B test it. You got to look at your insights on all your photos. Like it will tell you like how many people viewed it versus how many people liked it and commented on it, right? So all your reels, you can get insights of like your demographic and stuff. And so look at like what content are people enjoying and engaging with that you are posting. And if every time you post real estate stuff, it's like such a small percentage of what your personal stuff is, then you're getting insights on, okay, either I need to switch what I'm posting about real estate or just start posting less. So it's a hard balance because again, like we have like our rainmaker, Clay Winder, he like doesn't use social media. So every time like we have a real estate, like we send social media to our all of our agents daily post. And so it's like, hey, you can post all these every day or you can post 0 of them once a week. I'm not going to be offended. I just want to give you guys options of what to post. And he just has it to where his assistant posts all of them. And then he's gotten so many comments from people that are like, hey, I've like unfollowed you because all you're posting is real estate. And it's really annoying. Like, I want to see your kids. I want to see your family. And that's not where he's getting his business from because he's a word of mouth guy. He's been in the business long enough that he doesn't need to do that. But again, he's lost business or lost people's interest in following him because all he's done is business. So it's hard because it's sales. So you want to make sure you're showing off and reminding people, but also I think there's a strategic way to do it. What other questions you guys have? This is uninterrupted time. About 14 minutes.
So would you say, like, I guess it might just depend on the agent, but as far as like marketing goes, how important is social media versus?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I run ROI on all of our lead sources, right? And we determine where our budget goes as a team. And social media is almost a negative ROI because it's almost all passive people, right? Whereas if I run digital advertisements on Google, right, I can target people who are searching for homes in Utah County, right? There's a lot more that you can do with that. Whereas in social media, I tell people it's all a passive lead source. So when you're running Facebook ads, when you're running Instagram, you're just hoping it gets in front of the right person, but really it's just saying, hey, they kind of fit these boxes. We're going to throw it in front of them, see if it sticks. So a lot of times that's where I tell people, I'm like, I would hold closely accountable your dollars that if you are paying money to boost any post, but then I also think like there is a positive ROI in just the organic aspect of it, if that makes sense, because the only thing you're spending is your time, which is also sometimes your most valuable asset. So making sure that you're not wasting time, but just really looking at your insights because like, I mean, we have 22 agents. Some of them, it's like all social media and they are like, that's all they do. They don't call people, they don't text people. All they do is social media. They have some of the lowest production on our team, right? And then there's some agents that it's like, oh, I do social media maybe once a week and I do calls. Like at the end of the day, like real estate is a relationship game. Calls are the most important. Like getting face to face with people is the most important. Social media is what I tell people is it's just the little sprinkle on top of like reminders. Hey, don't forget I'm in real estate because we all think, oh my gosh, my best friends, my family, they're always going to use me because I'm a realtor and they love me. Sad reality is we have seen countless times where they know 20 other realtors and they use someone else because they forget that you're in the business or you're not doing a good enough job of showcasing yourself as an expert. So I tell people instead of like thinking of social media as a way of like gaining business, think of it as retaining the people that you already have. And if you grow organically from that, that's just like cherries on top, right? But really thinking of how am I just staying in front of my current network versus like how am I just getting a countless or growing my following, so to speak. Well, that's a great question because it is really depends on the agent.
There are a lot of people that I have found that have a big following and get zero closings from it.
Yep.
Like even in the news, talk about that girl from Salt Lake that like makes fun of houses
Mm-hmm.
that everyone's probably seen her, forget her name.
Yep.
She's got like millions of followers and she's closed 3 houses.
Yep.
So that didn't
Correlate.
equate to anything for her. So I always tell people it's not being about being an influencer, it's about being influential with your people.
See, everyone needs to write that down. That is it. Look at Cameron. That's why I said Cameron should teach it. It is about being influential to your people, 100%. Because the people who are following her are probably other realtors, or they're probably people outside of the state of Utah, right? And so it is. And even like Paige Steckling, she's a great example. She's got all these crazy followers, does all these videos, doesn't do that much business, right? So I tell people, I'm like, you just want to be influential to the people that are following you. Because when you start to chase the superficial metrics, you start to lose the people that you have, right? Because I mean that's human nature, right? We see, oh, I'm getting hundreds of thousands of millions of followers, so I'm chasing that and I'm neglecting my core people who are actually my SOI, who are actually going to do business with me. So, yeah. Any other questions?
All the different channels, I'm just gonna.
But see, this is why we love it.
And all the different channels are ways to reach out to people. I mean, say on Instagram, like via comment or DMs, or responding to their reels. What's the best way to build a relationship with somebody you haven't talked to?
I would say that if you haven't talked to him in a long time, like I mean, it depends on you and the relationship. If there's past relationship, if it's new, like the guy that I told you who he is not great at social media, but he did the 555 rule. And he's like, I just DM'd a bunch of people I've never even met or people I haven't talked to since high school. And all he would do is just say, because it's like a comment, like we all get comments. It's like, okay, whatever. Like you took 2 seconds, but a message, it's a little bit more personal. So I just would start with like a response to a story or something. If they're like at a cool restaurant or if they're just posted they had a baby, like just doing something like a response instead of just like a blanket DM, like, hey, thinking of you, haven't talked to you in forever, respond with something. And then that will kind of create those messagings in those DMs versus like, and then I feel like that's, for me at least, I would feel better about doing that than DMing them out of the blue and being like, hey, haven't talked to you in a while, like, how's it going? So I think that's the best. And I feel like that's a little bit more intentional than a comment. So that's a great question. And I would just, again, get in the habit of like sending people reels. Like anytime you see reels, like just be that person that's just sending people reels and keeping in contact with people. So great question. You guys are all gonna go crush social media. It's gonna be amazing. My email is Kaytin, Kaytin, @redsign.com. If you email me, I will email you guys the slides so you don't have to reference back through the notes and have it in a digital footprint. But yeah, what other? Kaytin @redsign.com. My office is up here. If you guys ever like are in the office and have questions, I don't just do so like I tell people like social media is like 5% of what I do. So if you have marketing questions, anything related to real estate, I would love to help in any way that I can because we've had brand new agents on our team. We've had agents in the business for 30 years that are crushing it. So I've done everything. So if you any questions about where to explore, because I know as newer agents, there's so much. You're like, okay, what avenue do I take? And I always tell people, I'm like, just find something that works for you. But also at the end of the day, just knowing like there's going to be a lot of like people create social media and all these other avenues to avoid the one thing, uncomfortable thing of making phone calls and connecting with people because that's their workaround is finding new leads and different things. So I tell people, I'm like, at the end of the day, if you make your phone calls, that's how you're going to do business. And that's what, like, if you ask our agents, like I harp on them so much and we have scoreboards and all these things. I'm like, I'm not going to help you with social media until you make your calls because this is all stuff that's ancillary that's not going to grow your business necessarily if you're not creating relationships. So, yeah. Uh, I would, depending on, yeah, I would say yes, I don't have my real estate license. For marketing, yeah, I would say I know most of the stuff that the brokerage requires to do us, but if it's like anything like crazy nuance, and Dean probably, but I would say when it comes to marketing, really like the only like there are like obviously the do not call. Like if you haven't noticed, like there's been several really, really big lawsuits on that recently. And so that's something I tell people like we've deployed an AI ISA. And so cross-referencing the national do not call list is super important if you're doing that. The brokerage, any print, any sign, any material that you make has to have the brokerage logo. And then one click away digitally. But I feel like other than that, there's not really like a ton of marketing rules that you have to comply by. I mean, on Facebook, if you guys do post ads, it does ask you special requests, like special category, is this housing related? You have to, again, we have to be all inclusive, so you have to make sure that you put that on your ads or they'll get denied. But yeah, if it's anything, you can always ask me, and if I don't know, I'll refer you to Dean. But I haven't gotten sued yet, so I think I'm doing, for the most part. Yeah, I know. Cody wants to he's like, just they're the expired list. Let's just call them. Like, there's an 80% chance they're not on it. I'm like, no, you can fit that bill if we get sued. So, yeah. Any other questions? About 4 minutes. Nope.
Okay, you guys need to do something with all of
Yeah, action items.
that.
You have to, yeah.
Who has more following? Yeah, then I would. That's an anomaly because usually it's your personal one that does. So it's just a question you have to ask yourself, like, is the following on your real estate one people that are doing business with you and actual people like in Utah that you could do business with, or is it your personal one? Because sometimes like our account, we have like 14,000 followers, but so many of those are outside of the state of Utah that we're never going to get business for. So that doesn't really help me. So I don't know. You just have to dive deep into that and decide. But, and also if it is working for you, then keep doing. I'm not going to tell you guys like this is the path you have to take. This is just what I've seen has led to success for some people, but everyone's different. So I don't know. Good luck with that. Yeah, no. Okay. Action items. Who has action items that they're going to go implement today? Yeah. Okay. soon as you get home. I love it. Yep.
Be hanging out with Cameron all day.
See, Cameron's great. Yeah, he'll help you with all this stuff. He knows it. He only posts every time he has a baby. Yeah.
And, I posted, if you're like, here is literally the post.
With the-
Under contract, put this on your story, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I
it
did
took
that.
2 seconds.
And I had like 3 different people message me, and like one girl was like, hey, I wanna buy a house.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I had a crush on you in high school, which I was in shock.
I'll let Cassie talk to you. That's funny. See, it works. So it is. It's sometimes we think like, ugh, that's annoying. I like, no one cares that I have the house under contract or I just sold a house, but it's just a reminder because they're not thinking of you every day, right? You're not their center of their world. So it's like just reminders. And don't be a Cameron who posts only when he has a kid. So, yeah. You have gotten a lot better on it.
Post versus reels.
Yep.
How often should you be posting an actual post versus doing it?
I tell people like Reels is the magic button. Like that's the name of the game because Reels are not only going to your stories. Yes. So stories, if you look at engagement of because of all the new ads and different things with Instagram and Facebook, stories actually get more viewership than the actual feed because people are tired of scrolling through feeds because it's like all ads and all these other things. But again, it could be different for you. But for all of our, most of our agents and what I've seen on our business account is we get more views on our stories. So I tell people like you go on a vacation, post that with your post, right? Like do some really cool photos. You go do something like something that's worthy, make that a post. Your stories are like perfect for real estate because it's like Cameron said, I just reposted an under contract thing. It's very subtle. It's only on there for 24 hours and you can post multiple things and kind of let it so it's not all like your feed. Because I would get annoyed if I followed a real estate agent and every time I'm scrolling in the feed and it's just a post. So I would say stories are the best just because you can do a bunch of like polls and stickers and questions and things to get people to engage that wouldn't normally engage with you. Great question though. Okay. Who's gonna do the 5-5-5 rule? Okay, nice. I'm telling you, every class I've taught, people have come back to me and they said, that's literally what got me business is I just started interacting with people and that random lady messaged me and wanted me to sell her house. So everyone's like, all the other stuff was great, but interacting with people and commenting, engaging with sending messages is what gets you business. So, okay. Nothing else. You have my email. Email me if you have any marketing questions for real estate. I do all of our lead generation, all of our ASAs. So sale, if you have sales contracts, that's Cam's your go-to. Not a licensed realtor, but